Ali Price. Leinster slam the door once more. Fagerson
Use it!
might be the one. No, instead it's Wilson. Ryan Wilson maybe a metre short. Pick and go, and another blue wave. Hold them out. Price. What a start to this one. Still they use the big men, and the big men get them there. Glasgow are over. They have the try, and it's Xander Fagerson who emerges with the ball, and that is a dream start.
Yeah, a dream start, Riley, you're right. We spoke there. Was it the right call? It's the right call if you get 5 points,
now.
7 points. You know, there's a great start. Look, great ball retention. Exactly the blueprint that La Rochelle played last week in those final exchanges. Keep the ball, be physical, be direct. I thought they'd blown it a phase before that. Ali Price is looking for a wider runner, but again, just regroup, hold on to the ball, be patient, be powerful, and really good start for Glasgow.
Yeah, really powerful. Jack Dempsey, couple of occasions, he was the one that got the momentum, got him behind that Leinster defence. He's a big ball carrying number 8. And Xander Fagerson, the British and Irish Lion, reaches out and gets the try. We've got a game in our hands, lads. We thought this was going to be over with inside 15 or 20 minutes.
I know you did, Stevie. Let's not brush us all with the same brush here.
Ross Thompson will hope to add the additional 2. Big day for him. I mean, it goes without saying, every single moment for Glasgow, every single opportunity has got to be taken, you feel. And they've done that in the opening 5.5 minutes. They come away with the full 7. And the Leinster crowd, well, it's gone a little bit muted around the RDS. They'll raise their voices again. A long, long way to go. But if Danny Wilson had a dream of how this one might start, he's probably seen it come true. Watched and gathered by McKay, who flings it away to Sam Johnson. Leinster up quickly to make the tackle. Ali Price can see the ball. As important as the try was from Glasgow's perspective, the exit will be equally so. And they managed to get it away. Good kick from Sam Johnson. That wind felt like it was behind him there. I look at the flag though behind the goal, and it's blowing across the field in the opposite direction. Big kick either way from the young man.
Yeah, that's a great exit. I wondered if they passed it in field. Actually being in the middle of the pitch there makes the kick much harder. I wonder if they might go 1 or 2 more phases, but like you say, Rob, maybe the wind, they've got understanding of the conditions. But great start, great exit, but now they've got to defend.
Open again, open.
Oh, who'd be a coach, Leo Cullen, he's had for many and has earned it, an armchair ride all season, and now, well, that didn't look straight. They can count that one as a plus. Ross Byrne kicks in behind. That one though is going to get away, and the momentum is going to take it dead and will go all the way back. But they're the sort of basic errors you just don't expect to see, albeit with the windy conditions.
Yeah, that's just the wind there. Bad bounce. It's actually beautiful here at the RDS. The pitch conditions nice and firm. Beautiful day for running rugby. Ross Byrne decides to kick it in behind. I'm not sure. I think they got away with one, maybe, John. Bit of a skew line out there by Dan Sheehan. Didn't look that straight to me.
Yeah, definitely wasn't straight. But Leinster just slightly clunky there. It just shows if A doesn't go right, B, C, D tend to not follow so well. Slightly off straight line out led to a couple of passes behind and then a straight and kick there. So again, you're hoping from a Leinster point of view they would string some phases together, get themselves in the game after a disappointing start, but as it is, Glasgow got a chance to try and put a bit more pressure.
First scrum of the afternoon on, as John said, an absolutely immaculate surface at the RDS, and Stephen Ferris, fair penalty?
Yeah, I think that's the right call. Andrew Porter's hips angle. Swinging right out there.
No, number 1 angle.
Yeah, the referee, number 1 angle, Andrew Porter. We know he's played a lot in the tight head as well. He'll not be happy with that. Leinster will not be happy with that start, Ryle. 8 minutes gone on the clock, under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, you see Xander in a really strong position there. You see Andrew Porter buckles at the hip. Backside comes out. Pretty obvious one, Steve. You turned to me, gave the raised eyebrows like you knew what we were talking about. I think even we could call that one.
Glasgow with that all-international front row, indeed all-international pack with the exception of the open side, Gregor Brown. That one is back on the Glasgow side, untidy, and untidy equals an opportunity for Leinster, and they absolutely grasp it. Dan Sheehan gets across to claim the ball and is
first man on the ball.
Stopped from taking it cleanly, so the penalty to Leinster.
Yeah, Glasgow need to keep it simple. It is windy down there, difficult for both hookers. George Turner, Dan Sheehan. It's going to be a difficult afternoon. Just a nice, easy line out. And it was Ryan Wilson with a bit of a dummy to the front, and they thrown right to the tail. Wasn't tidied up. Dan Sheehan get in over the ball. Brilliant body position. Won the space.
Ryan Wilson a bit slow there. I'm surprised by Glasgow's approach there, given they've got Ryan Wilson and Richie Gray, two of the best in the business in the air.
Yeah, Richie Gray, most line-out steals in URC regular season with 12. He's been immense, but there wasn't a gap. They wanted a gap, the referee that is, and offers the free to Leinster, and with that free they choose a scrum rather than the line-out. Wind really has got up. Don't want to overstate it, but it is a factor in the decision-making process when you get to a line-out.
I think on that, there's sometimes at the start of the game they'll understand they want to win the ball at the back of the line out. I think as a leadership team, a senior management team on the pitch, they'll have to realise that we've got to play the conditions here. It feels sunny, it looks sunny, but the wind's obviously proving tricky for the hookers, for both hookers.
Reset. No, reset. Let's go.
Reset for the scrum. Last time, remember, Andrew Porter penalised for Leinster. So early days, but a very big moment you feel in the context of the scrum for the rest of this game, that Leinster locked this one out. Gibson-Park with the feed, and Glasgow are going after it. Leinster answer. That was a real arm wrestle. Frawley, midfield, little gap opens up for him, and he tries the pass.
Backwards for me.
Goes backwards, says the referee. McLean looks like he's the one who's rescued the ball for Glasgow. He has. Ali Price swings his left leg at it. And Jimmy O'Brien gathers the ball for Leinster. O'Brien, maybe slightly surprising to see him at full back, and Larmour on the wing, considering how good Larmour was at full back against Munster a couple of weeks ago. Ross Byrne, Caelan, Doris, up to the 22, Leinster go. Ross Byrne, as the crowd raised their voice, but that one isn't accurate, and Leinster retain possession but give up about 15 metres. Big tackle from Tuipulotu. Then Leinster come again. Dan Sheehan, little kick after it. Leinster go. There was a crowd appeal for a body check on Dan Sheehan, and the referee has a little look at his assistant, and the referee now is going to have a conversation with the TMO. Your view on that one?
Sorry, you can't see in the background, there's a tussle on the floor, and I just said I guarantee at the bottom of that is Ryan Wilson, and sure enough, being physical. No, I didn't think there was anything in that. Good play by Leinster, good kick. Rob Harley does enough just to block that lane, but it didn't look like he changed his lane enough. We hear what the ref's going to say here.
Before the game, I asked you, behavior okay? What's happening over there? I don't know. But it's unacceptable at this level, okay? Yeah. That's the end of the conversation for me of this one, okay? Speak with your boys, okay? We'll start with a scrum or 22 dropout. Scrum over there, 22 here.
Where's the scrum?
No, over there.
So no late hit.
22, perfect.
So we're going to have Glasgow ball, but the referee, translation sorted out. Get on with it.
Yeah, it's really well handled. Okay. Bit of authority there by the referee, but that's what we're talking about pre-match, about this defence, this Glasgow defence, getting up in the passing channels, putting huge pressure on. Leinster just a little bit pedestrian at the minute in their attack.
O'Brien to Caelan Doris, who looks for a weak shoulder, doesn't find one. George Turner puts him to ground. Ryan, crowd screaming for Glasgow being offside. Little kick through again for Leinster to chase up, but Glasgow have the numbers back, although Ross Thompson needs help and did just about enough until the cavalry arrived.
Glasgow done really well. They're just to regroup now, just getting a good position to box. Leinster big pressure on the breakdown. Take your time.
Yeah, referee said the ball was out and okay to play. They regroup. And that one, I don't think is going to find touch. Byrne kept it in. Gibson-Park. Jordan Larmour. Down the narrow side, Sheehan so often there. Uses his physicality to get McKay, and then whoa. Crowd didn't like that. Referee's going to have a word.
It wasn't a 9 for me. It was committed to the ruck. Just a clean out, in my view.
Yes, there's always that grey area. Sometimes when a 9 goes in to clear the ruck.
Most of the player is not number 9 in this situation. I have it to play on.
Yeah, the scrum half wasn't playing as a scrum half, so he's part of the ruck. But you can hear Glasgow doing exactly what they need to, upsetting the crowd. They're coming alive, they're getting upset. Exactly what Glasgow wanted.
So I think people at home will be looking at that going, why is that not a penalty? Because the number 9 should be protected in that circumstance. Explain it. But there's two things. There's the actual contact area, which is towards the head, and now the referee is going to look at that rather than the actual...
Yeah, I think from a first glance, if Jamison Gibson-Park had been bound to that player, which it looked like initially, he's part of the ruck, and Richie Gray can counter ruck, but he does a good job of kind of being in a halfway house there.
So I think the issue here is where Richie Gray makes contact with Gibson-Park, which is elbow
from what I'm seeing,
to the head.
So the number 6, isn't it?
Number 5.
He might get an Oscar for it. He has hit him in the head. I think it's going to be a card potentially, but it's
with the shoulder,
not done with much force.
The forearms. But from what I'm seeing, the level of danger is not too high in my view. It's not coming from distance. So from what I'm seeing, I'm happy to yellow card against 5 for dangerous clean out.
I agree with you, Andrea.
Yeah, I saw it, but But I think the force and the speed and all the images that we have is not for me. Sì. Matteo, sei d'accordo con me su distanza e sull'outcome o secondo te arriva da più lontano?
No, va benissimo, il basso livello di pericolosità, cartellino giallo, basta.
Yeah, I'm happy, boys, happy. Number 5, please. James, if you want to listen. So is the dangerous clean out? The force for me is really low. It's not a big level of danger. But for me, it's yellow card, okay?
Crowd believed it should have been red. You can understand why the referee went yellow.
Yeah, it's just, I don't think there's any malice in the clean out there. Just a little bit mistimed. He does catch him in the face. I think the referee, once again, really well handled. Good explanation to both captains. But perfect opportunity for now to get some pressure in this Glasgow side.
And Byrne finds the touch which will give Leinster the platform, and it all came from him keeping in clearance kick, and off Leinster went.
Yeah, that ball had to go to touch there.
9.
Dan Sheehan, James Ryan and Leinster with a bit of purpose. And then some go to the maul. Sheehan drives the legs, Leinster to the line. Referee says try. Magnificently executed by Leinster. Right off the training ground, right out of the top drawer. And we have a 2-point game.
Oh, what a try. Brilliantly worked. Caelan Doris with the catch in the line out. Then the par comes on. It's Dan Sheehan who gets the try. But look at this for a setup. Sorry, excuse me, it's Baird with the take. And Caelan Doris at the front who gets bundled out. But that's too easy, John. That's worrying signs for the next 60 minutes in this game, if it's going to be that easy every time it comes to mauls.
I think it's a really cute piece of play by Leinster. They load the front, they peel round the front, coming in, loading the front wedge. So Glasgow are a man down already, so I think it's a really smart piece of play. A great call, a bit easy, but you're missing a huge man in Richie Gray, so great call by Leinster for me, great execution. The worst thing Glasgow could have done there is pulled that down and given away another yellow card, though, so I doubt anyone was shouting that at the time, but for me, if you're going to take it, have the kick out here and keep 14 men on the pitch.
So then, crowd take their seats. They may be few in number by comparison to the normal levels at the RDS, but they are absolutely making themselves heard, no doubt about that. Great atmosphere. Byrne, opportunity to draw it level. You can see the flag away over the top of the stand, and what it's doing, no impact on Byrne, 7 points apiece.
His kicking off the tee is absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? 88% so far in the URC this season. Just keeps knocking them over. so reliable. Windy day, no problem to Ross Byrne. Straight through the middle of the post.
So, John Barkley, you're in this situation. You're away from home in the quarter-final. You've started really well. It's all squared up. You're down to one man. Down one man. What do you do for the next 10 minutes?
They've done the first bit. Didn't give away another sin bin. They've walked to the halfway line, eat the clock a bit. You've got to kick this ball deep and be disciplined here for the next 8 minutes, whatever's left. Make the clock your friend, not your enemy.
And try and play as much of the game as you can in the opposition's 22, and that is not the way to start it.
That's the exact opposite of what you should do. That ball has to go long, and now Leinster have a scrum with a fully loaded scrum against a 7-man Glasgow scrum in the middle of the pitch. Arguably one of the hardest places to defend and get back second phase to defend aggressively. So, big task ahead for Glasgow here.
Just on Ross Thompson, John. He seems to have found himself as the number 110 now for Glasgow. Is he, in your opinion?
I think he's established himself. He's the thought when Duncan Weir was signed with it, he would come back, but Ross in that period during COVID managed to really establish himself as a really quality young player. I think as the season's gone on, his second season, he's sitting a little bit deeper. I'd like to see him getting flatter and being a bit more aggressive, but that will come with time and a bit more confidence.
Yeah, one of a couple of young players coming through for Glasgow. You look at Ollie Smith and also Gregor Brown and Rory Doris, who unfortunately isn't there for Glasgow today. How they could do with them. Advantage being played. Strong scrum from Leinster, answering the opening penalty against them at the scrum, you feel. Here's Ross Byrne. Garry Ringrose back inside he goes, trying to target Ross Thompson, but he puts him to ground as not on, but no more than that. And it's there for Leinster, and out wide is Jordan Larmour. Larmour, first gear, second gear, Gibson-Park. Ball knocked down, on we go, Larmour! Well, in many ways it's right that he's the one that finishes it, because wow, was that something special. Before the pass to Gibson-Park, and Larmour picks up the pieces. He was out for a couple of months with injury, but boy, he's back now.
Oh, he's lightning. You see, dry track, broken play, good ball here, but look at the space he's got. Look at it, quick in it. Sam Johnson doesn't touch him here. Gibson-Park here. I just wonder here, would that have been a yellow card? Because Rufus McLean stops playing.
Yeah, he knocks it back. Sure,
he knocks it back and he stops playing. He's got to keep playing. They've got to try and make the tackle.
Well, that was the break from Larmour, and then the pass to Gibson-Park. So across comes Rufus McLean, and
he stopped. You see his head goes up. You got to keep playing there. You're a man down. It's really poor play there. Really disappointing play. You've got to love Larmour's feet there. The acceleration, the footwork. But the game's turned on its head in the last few minutes.
Well, yeah, the dream was there for 6 or 7 minutes. Perfect start from Glasgow, but they're under the cosh now as we head towards the end of the first quarter. 2 tries conceded and a man in the sin bin. They've another 5 minutes or so on that one, and Leo Cullen, well, if he was concerned at all in the opening 5 minutes, those concerns have definitely dissipated in the last 5 minutes or so.
That may have narrowed the focus for Glasgow. I think a couple of their kicks were certainly from the first try, a kick that didn't make touch. That try came off the back of a bad restart from Ross. Their kicking game's got to be good to go away to Leinster and win.
Well, that one was so much better, and the ball reclaimed by Glasgow. I think it was Sam Johnson who got there to claim that restart. Ali Price will dig it out, and it's taken on by Gregor Brown. Price trying to get the ball away. Leinster up so quickly. Ollie Smith tackle. He's from Ciaran Frawley. And Leinster through Tadhg Byrne, or Tadhg Furlong, I should say. Go after the ball. Doesn't matter. Both of them can do the job. One in red, one in blue, and it's the blue Tadhg.
I was just about to say he's just as good as Tadhg Byrne over the ball. Probably has better hands, does he? No, very good turnover there by the big fella. Good kick-off, much better kick-off by Glasgow. But just a word on Jordan Larmour. Out for so long, comes back, man of the match versus Munster a couple of weeks ago. Lights it up here again in the RDS. He's under huge pressure with his position, with all the other lads playing so well. just incredible for him to come back and hit his form straight away, Ryle.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of the subplot for both these sides, the national coaches will be looking. There are big tours coming in the next couple of weeks. Ireland off to New Zealand, Scotland off to Argentina, and no doubt there are players on the park right now who may well be in the standby area who could make a big case with a big performance today. Advantage big play to Leinster.
Backwards.
Porter couldn't get the pass away. But Leinster have it now. Ringrose warming to the task. O'Brien almost got away. And a penalty. And Glasgow all of a sudden are chasing shadows a little and look rattled, and they're going to get another lecture.
It's getting a bit frantic here. You see Leinster on the front foot. We know they're so good when they get going.
Okay, we have 4. You raise the legs in the line out. And here we have a offside. A couple of offside here, number 13, and then now number 12 try to move away and makes the ball dead, okay? So make sure you speak with your team in this part of the field. More discipline, please, okay? Yeah, of course. Okay, yeah, time off. Speak with your team.
Yeah, look, I think
so we have a couple
everyone speaks about Leinster, you know, particularly that game against Toulouse and how dominant they were when they get on the front foot against 14 men, against Glasgow. This is what they're going to be doing, just imposing themselves, imposing their physicality, imposing speed of ball. When Gibson-Park gets that ball moving fast, it's hard enough with 15 players. You go down to 14, their mauls being efficient. They've just got a nice balance of play at the moment, and Glasgow should be desperate for Richie Gray to get back on the pitch.
So then Ross Byrne with the option of taking the penalty over on that far side, but closer to the touchline is the option he had. I think he had 3 separate options to decide where to take the penalty from. The net result, it's a 5-metre line-out throw for Leinster. The last time, a little further out, they romped home with a rolling maul. More of the same from Ryan Baird, maybe. Van der Flier and Sheehan has it at the back of that maul, and Glasgow have done a decent job of stopping the first wave and sending it towards the touchline. Caelan, Doris, Gibson-Park, Porter, and the pick can go, and they're over again. It's McCarthy, Joe McCarthy. The young man spotted the gap. Glasgow defensively all over the place. It's a 3rd try in 15 minutes, and Leinster all of a sudden are coasting.
Yeah, it's all too easy for Leinster. Didn't go anywhere with the ball. You see Gibson-Park here just waiting for his big forwards to get around the corner. Cian comes flying round. It's Porter this time carrying the ball. Then it's McCarthy who gets down for the try. Only his 10th appearance for Leinster.
Ooh.
A little bit of a juggle at the end, maybe.
Yeah, and the referee's just said time off, having seen the big screen. Yeah, I don't think he's controlled that one.
Be interesting to see whether George turned his hands, knocked it out though.
Oh, has it gone backwards?
Yeah, here we go. No, I think that'll be a knockout. Ooh.
So Matteo, we need to check formally, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, Andre.
Okay.
Glasgow though, I think for me, you see, I'd love to see that replay again.
You will.
A couple of phases before they're out, the urgency or the lack of it. You know, you're 19-7 now, 14-7 down if this tries not allowed. You have to show some urgency. You're a man down and they're ambling round the corner in defence. They've got to show some urgency and get around the corner, get in front of bodies. Don't make it a walk-in.
Let's hear what the referee and his officiating team have to say about this one.
Allora Andre, via vista, il giocatore blu la manda indietro, la tocca con il mento, quindi non è avanti e poi fa il ground.
Go on, Stevie.
I think that's a try. Was backward because of the action of the white.
He's going to give it.
So white played the ball, isn't it? It touched the ball, it goes backward, and then touched the blue hands, and the ball goes backwards again. So touch the ball goes backwards again, isn't it, Matteo?
Yeah, I agree.
So it's not knock-on because it's touching the face of the blue player, and the ball then travels backwards again and is scored by the blue. So we're speaking about a try. Correct? Yeah. 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 So with the head, no knock-on. Then goes backwards again.
E poi lo schiaccia con la parte alta del petto, quindi meta, ragazzi.
By the chest.
It all adds up to a legitimate try, I think. George Turner's hand knocked it out, which knocked it forward from him, but not from McCarthy.
The Leinster players are all coming forward. They don't think they've scored.
All the things.
So the nice surprise.
The white touches the ball and goes backwards from the forward from the. Come on, let me explain. It goes forward from the blue player, but it's not knocked on by him. Then we have a touch by the neck by the blue player that is not knocked on, and then again backwards by the blue player that he scored it and scored. No, doesn't matter if he's lost the ball, because the ball travels always backwards from the blue.
White player
That's correct. That's what we decide. Okay, it's really technical, but I explain that.
Ryan Wilson not happy, and you can understand why, but you break that down frame by frame, and it looks like the right decision to me, John.
Yeah, the referee said it's very technical. It is, because I've never seen that before. It looks like it's been hit out of his hand, and then it's hit his face, and then it's gone backwards, and then he scored the try. So, yeah, look, it's a try. It's definitely a try. It's one of those ones that, as a player, would feel really strange. You felt it. You've seen the ball come out. They've looked at it. The Leinster players were all coming forward. They didn't think they'd scored, but the rules, the laws, that is a try.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if that was the middle of the pitch. I think it would be a knock-on. It would be seeing a scrum. But on that occasion, you're not going to get it dissected by the video referee, are you? But to try, Big Joe McCarthy, we were talking about him before the game. He's a huge man, John.
It was the phase before that. Just the lack of urgency on their line, given the score, given the circumstances. Richie Gray come back on the pitch now, but they've got to get in front of players. They've got to be aggressive with and without the ball. We saw them be aggressive in the first few minutes with the ball, going to the corner, big carries, but that's half the game. You're going to have to defend against the Leinster team with this much quality.
You can see Richie Gray is back, and the yellow card is gone from over Glasgow's abbreviated name on the scoreline, but the scoreline reads 21-7 when it did read 7-0 in Glasgow's favour. And that a combination of excellent play from Leinster, but a couple of pretty basic errors from Glasgow as well, defensively and with their kicking game. Ross Thompson down into the Leinster 22, easily managed and dispatched back downfield again. Really hard to tell what that wind is doing. Feels like it's behind both kickers. Good run from Rufus McLean. And then the pick and go from Jack Dempsey. Over it goes Sheehan, but he's off his feet, so has to leave it alone, and it's there for Glasgow. Wasn't the intended target, but Xander Fagerson grabbed a hold of the ball. If you're joining us late, Fagerson, Glasgow's try scorer in the opening 5 minutes. Glasgow off to a perfect start. Ross Byrne. Plenty of grass for him to aim at, and he finds it. Ball bobbles up. And we're playing a game of kick tennis. Who blinks first? Ali Price has a little look to see what's on offer. Takes on the responsibility himself, and I think after, what, 4 apiece, that's probably advantage Leinster slightly.
It's perfect for Leinster. That's what they wanted. 14-point lead. Just kick the ball back to them, kick it deep, turn Ali Price around. Ali Price is covering some amount of blades of grass out there.
Dan Sheehan. Again, that one didn't look absolutely straight, but the referee happy to let it go. What a collision in midfield. Brown on Caelan Doris. There's another body in there as well. Ringrose. Glasgow going after the ball once more. George Turner in to try and clear out goes Fagerson. Ball is there for Glasgow. Good work to turn it over. Jamie Batty. Referee. Ooh. That one hurt.
Get in there.
Sorry, mate.
Sorry, mate. I think they'll all be happy for the rest. What a collision, though, by Gregor Brown. We talked a few minutes ago about getting in front of Leinster, being physical. Young man there showed how to do it.
Referee's okay. None the worse for wear.
Okay, come here.
That was the hit for Turner to get over the ball.
No worries, guys. Okay, let's go. Thanks.
Here we go, eh? Let's go, FPG!
Never turn your back on a prop, ever.
Here we go.
Day or night, don't do it.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Leinster again turn the screw in the scrum. And boy, do they turn it.
Come back.
That's a demolition job, Raoul. Xander Fagerson this time, his hip swinging right out. Andrew Porter finding the gap on the inside and going after it, but as a unit, that Leinster pack now have found their groove. All 8 lads putting the weight through, staying down, sticking to the process.
And a good kick from Ross Byrne to get Leinster way inside the Glasgow 22, maybe 7-8 metres short of the Glasgow line. And there's a menace and a purpose, isn't there, to the way that they're going about this, Leinster. They approach this line out.
9.
Clarity of thought. Dan Sheehan knows exactly what's going to happen. And they go to that maul. Last time they loaded the front in this position and sauntered home. This time it's more through the middle. Sheehan isn't going to get any change out of that. It was Turner who put him to ground, and the ball is still there. Tadhg Furlong up for James Ryan, who finds a big gap on the side of the breakdown that Glasgow weren't managing. And on they go. Was it James Ryan? It may have been Ryan Baird. We'll go back and check that in a moment.
What's that? Clear the ball. Use the ball.
It's Ryan playing scrum half, Flier and Baird there.
Stay onside.
Good defensive effort on that occasion from Glasgow, but they're going to have to stay at it and stick at it.
Stay onside, wide, stay there. Perfect, stay there.
Still there for Leinster's back row. Caelan, Doris, Ryan Baird, but Glasgow, after a soft moment around the fringe of the breakdown, really go to work. And all the congratulations goes to Harley with Wilson there as well.
Yeah, it was a good tackle by Ryan Wilson, force him back in. Rob Harley over the wall, but I think you saw the Glasgow players, you heard the Glasgow players certainly celebrating there. I think another try there under the post, 28-7. It feels like almost the end of the game, even 30 minutes in. That's a big moment. They've got to get themselves back in this game. You see Ryan Wilson there, he turns him round. Leinster players off their feet, and Rob Harley on his feet. Big let out of jail free card there for Glasgow.
Yeah, really good work from them. Rob Harley, of course, 12 years at Glasgow. This his final couple of games, whether that be today or a semi-final or a final. He will finish after 12 years with Glasgow, 23 international caps. Hopes to continue to play, although no announcement on where that might be. Turner, all sorts of bobbing and weaving. Eventually it's Wilson who goes high and claims the ball for Glasgow, and they have an advantage as Leinster came in from an offside position. I think here's Ali Price, well, almost Ali Price away.
Where is Craig?
Just bobbled away from him.
Yeah, it was nice. But you've seen Jack Dempsey, a few nice carries through the guts of the ruck. You see he's disappointed there that pass didn't quite go to hand, but
offside.
Been one of Glasgow's best players week in, week out. I think certainly they're missing some of their heavier players in Matt Fagerson, Rory Dar, Scott Cummins. Real heavy ball carriers, which allows him to play in the slightly wider channels. As it is, he's having to play a bit tighter. I think he's not getting as much go forward from the pack around him, but he's been a quality find for Glasgow this year.
Yeah, one of those with a bit of Sanzar Super Rugby experience. Jack Dempsey with the Waratahs. Sam Johnson had a bit of experience as well, of course, with the Reds.
You can go on the other side only when he needs a transfer. Over there for me was okay, okay? Stay there, in the 15.
Turner again. Big movement. Wilson will feed Ali Price. Johnson, and through the middle goes the aforementioned Dempsey. Good work from the line out from Glasgow. Set themselves up on that Leinster 22. Price and Batty will go to work in close, try and drag in some Leinster defenders. Flier was tempted, couldn't get his hands on it. McKay back up towards that 22. That 22, a really good gauge of how well the carries work, how good that defensive line is from Leinster. And they forced Glasgow back a couple of meters. But an opportunity maybe to go around the outside. Wilson is wrapped up by Ringrose as he reaches that 22. Turner on an angle and at pace is scythed down. And it's there for Ali Price again. Through the hands and out wide is Josh McKay, and McKay steps inside Furlong, who was receiving treatment and got back on his feet. Physio's in the way. The referee lets play continue. It was knocked forward, and Leinster have advantage from that knock forward. And it's back for Ross Byrne and Glasgow's opportunity. Our first real opportunity, it has to be said, since the opening 5 or 6 minutes.
Here we go.
Is gone for the moment. Oof, that was huge. We'll come back to it in a moment. Johnson sets it up. Ali Price again. Rob Harley. Wrestle to the ground. Ali Price once more. Thompson has a little look to see what's on. Little dink in behind, and that's a clever play with Glasgow. A little bit fractured out wide.
Yeah, great piece of play there by Leinster. Lazarus, that is. Tadhg Furlong was receiving treatment. I was keeping my eye on him because I thought he had injured that ankle of his again that kept him.
Well, he's still receiving attention there again. Yeah,
he's getting more attention. But he got up and get into a bit of a pass and blocking lane. Looked like maybe one of the Glasgow players was tackled off the ball.
A couple of big hits in there as well. But having done good work from the line out to get themselves to that 22, to the Leinster 22, numerous carries, John, and they just couldn't find a way of penetrating.
Yeah, I think it was good passage of play, good ball retention. When they're down in the right areas, you know, George Turner's growing, the way he's carrying.
Okay,
Jack Dempsey, we spoke about, Jamie Batty's carrying well, but they really have to take every opportunity they have, and there's a bit of a mountain to climb at the moment. I did think that was a nice piece of play there by Ross Thompson. That's where he shows maturity. They understand the petrol tank's getting pretty low, a long passage to play, put it in the corner and try and put a bit of pressure onto Leinster.
Sheehan, good work by Wilson to get up there and secure possession for Glasgow. Now, can they do anything with it? Through the hands, not particularly effectively, actually. Not through the hands at all, along the grass. They have the ball, they've lost a bit of momentum. They'll set themselves off to try again. Leinster got a hand on the ball, but weren't able to do anything with it. Here's Thompson. Good work from Johnson. Ducks out of one, keeps going. Sam Johnson. Centre showing all his experience and ability. Glasgow, well, they look like they might have given up the fight 10 minutes ago. That fight is back as they come after it again, and there's a penalty awarded. And they started the half at 90 miles an hour, and they're finishing the half, well, maybe at 80.
Yeah, ran Baird there with a huge tackle, dislodging the ball, but they're going to come back for the penalty. One of the Glasgow players, not sure who it was taken out off the ball, ran a great line, a great short line, and Ali Price went out the back, but he was taken out. Let's see what this Glasgow maul's made of. Kick into the corner. Bit of a huddle now, Ryan Wilson giving the information to his troops of what he wants.
Feels like a big moment, this, doesn't it?
Sure does.
21-14, that would really change the narrative, the discussions, the conversations, the emotions in that changing room at halftime.
Minus the scrum cap, George Turner will throw to the Glasgow line out. It sort of looped its way to its intended target, but it got there, and now they go and they continue to go, and Brown is almost there and he's over the line. Can the ball be grounded, or have Leinster ripped it away? It's been ripped away.
Yeah, it's held up. Jordan Larmour, brilliant by Jordan Larmour. A really nice maul setup. It's hard to beat a throw jump in the line out. Nice and simple. And the rule now, Ryle, with the goal line drop out, being held up over the line.
Well, they'll get the goal line drop out, and well, held up was the referee's decision. I have to say, I thought Larmour ripped it away, and we'll continue. Midfield, another big hit. Ryan Baird has really put himself about. Not sure there was a huge number of technically right moments to that one, if you understand my meaning. His arms didn't seem to wrap, but there you go. Referee didn't see it. Penalty goes to Leinster. Wouldn't mind seeing that one again.
Obstruction.
I guess if Danny Wilson is going to take the positives out of this first half, he's going to look at the way that Glasgow have come back into this game, because for that middle 20 minutes, it looked like they were gone out the back door and this was going to be a really long afternoon. But it's improved. The attitude has improved.
It's definitely improved. I think it's just the energy levels. You know, John touched on it about getting around the corner. More of a mindset than anything.
And they simply cannot afford to allow Leinster over again before the break. Van der Flier, Ross Byrne, Larmour around from his wing. He's so hungry for it. Jordan Larmour, can he ground the ball? Just held up. Glasgow throwing bodies in at any angle to try and stop it, but will it be enough? Ross Byrne, Harley gets there just in the nick of time. Quick ball once more, and Jimmy O'Brien can't get his hands on it, nor can Rory O'Loughlin. But was there a hand in there from a Glasgow player to throw it off its trajectory?
I think so. Straight away, Leinster players, arms up in the air. We'll just hear what the referee has to say here.
Camo check. So what I'm seeing, and so look at see. So it's deliberate knock-on by white player, and it's the last man want to be sure that is a deliberate knock-on and a possibility for a try.
Well, depending on the result of this could be game, set, and match right here.
Definitely.
I wonder if this would be a penalty try if it is a penalty.
Yeah, penalty try and a yellow card possibly if the referee makes that call. Oh, that would be hard, I think, on Josh McKay, wouldn't it?
I'm seeing Matteo is not clear deliberate. It's like he's trying to tackle the man, and in this emotion, it touched slightly the ball. I cannot see it like a deliberate knock-on. What do you think, Matteo?
Yeah, I think they're normally looking for a leading arm.
The knock is not clear. L'avanti non è nemmeno chiaro. Si vede nemmeno il tocco.
No, there's no touch by the white.
So his left arm came in first, his right arm came in second.
Okay, there's a touch.
So he might get away with this one.
So it will be a scrum blue ball or option scrum line out, because it goes straight into touch it. Okay? So it's not deliberate, it's just slightly touch the ball. It's option scrum or line out.
I've got to say, I watched that twice. I didn't see the ball get touched. Am I on my own here?
Line out, line out.
Yeah.
I am on my own.
Yeah. No, it's very difficult to see, but I think in real time, you've just played in real time, it doesn't go into Rory O'Loughlin's hands. Just a small fingertip.
Okay,
and of course,
let's go.
A knock-on or straight into touch. Leinster choosing the line out.
Well, Glasgow might have been facing a penalty try and a
Ali, please,
sin binning.
Thank you.
That would have been extremely harsh. In fact, it would have been the wrong call. Instead, they're still facing attacking Leinster side, looking for their fourth try and a half, and setting about it through Dan Sheehan again. Sheehan over his second, Leinster's fourth. In the end, it was pretty straightforward and pretty easy.
That's exactly right, Ryan. It's too easy for Leinster. They're a well-drilled team. They've got world-class players, a great driving maul, but it's just a bit too easy. I'm surprised, actually, given how good their maul's been, that Glasgow haven't elected to compete a bit more or to try and hit it a bit early. But
no time off.
I think what you're seeing is a difference in power now.
Sorry, it's not time over, and we restart.
Dan Sheehan's impressive, isn't he? Remember watching him a few years ago, his first couple of caps for Leinster. I think he scored a hat-trick in the second or third game. He was being talked about in high regard.
Yeah, they've had an embarrassment of riches at hooker this season with Ronan Kelleher and Dan Sheehan. Sean Cronin on the bench, who of course finishes his Leinster and rugby career this year with 72 international caps, and James Tracy, who's not even in the squad, with Kelleher as well out. 4 international hookers at Leinster. Haven't struggled in that area, that's for sure. So then Ross Byrne will look to complete the perfect half from the tee. 3 tries converted so far. Hope I haven't put the commentator's curse on him. Swings it around and off the posts. Not to be, but 26 points from Leinster nonetheless. We will get one final play in this half.
Yeah, a few seconds left on the clock just as Ross Byrne hit that kick. Just looking at the body language here of the Glasgow players.
Last play.
I know there's another 40 minutes to play, but just a little negative by them. They pick themselves back up, Ryle.
Yeah, it's a big ask to pick yourself up in a quarter-final when you've been truthfully outplayed in a first half. Apart from the first 5 minutes, it couldn't have been better from Glasgow in the opening 5 minutes. The try from Xander Fagerson that was converted, and they really rattled Leinster early, but Leinster, well, too good to be rattled for an entire half. Back they came, tries from Sheehan, 2 of them, Jordan Larmour, and also Joe McCarthy. It all adds up with the points from Ross.
Join John, Stevie and Ryle.
Immaculate timing, Ross, immaculate. Another Ross Byrne will get us underway at the start of this second half, and it is, well, an enormous mountain for Glasgow to climb, and if they're going to do it, well, you feel Stephen Ferris, they have just got to score first. No way around it.
No way around it. They got to exit well here and then get on the front foot, but look at the pressure Leinster's putting on them.
That said, Ross Thompson did really well to find a way out of that one.
Yeah, brilliantly. Bit of ducking and diving, weaving. Educated left foot, sends it down towards the halfway line. And the wind definitely picking up here in the second half at the RDS.
Did really well. Dan Sheehan, 2 tries in the first half, finds his man in the line out for Leinster, and off they go about their business again, although Glasgow did come up quickly and put pressure on out wide, just couldn't get a hand on the ball. Back inside, Gibson-Park, Jordan Larmour, you just cannot give him more than 1 metre. You give him 2 and he explodes into it. Ross Byrne holds on to it. Confirmation of a change, Fraser Brown in for George Turner in that hooker position for Glasgow. Frawley, Ringrose. Tackle from Sam Johnson, who really put himself around in that first half. Gibson-Park, Ross Byrne, Jimmy O'Brien, round the back goes Byrne. O'Loughlin, Vander Flier, but watched all the way and dealt with by the Glasgow halfbacks, both Price and Thompson. Wide awake to that one. Gibson-Park to McCarthy. O'Brien at out half, then Ross Byrne. Numbers on the back don't mean an awful lot when you get to 3 or 4 phases with Leinster. Caelan Doris was the one who charged into the Glasgow 22. Out wide it goes. Sheehan's already got 2, hungry for a hat-trick. 6 metres short Leinster are now. James Ryan. Ryan Baird secures possession. McCarthy is their big tackle. Good tackle from Rob Harley. Sheehan again drives the legs. Gibson-Park, Jordan Larmour. It's relentless. The Warriors are hanging on. If the ball comes quickly and they go right, it's surely going to be another try. It is another try. Caelan Doris over for Leinster. And in the sunshine in the stands in the RDS, a sea of blue rises.
I know, that's the try of the game for me. You won't see many better tries than that. The continuity, the variety, ball retention. They got very tight halfway up the pitch. They managed to create quick ball again, which is always the biggest challenge. Just the variety and the ball retention is so good. The soft handling skills to create a break for Caelan Doris there, and then just their ability to be physical and work a team and find the gaps. Superb try.
Yeah, Tuipulotu there, getting bounced by Dan Sheehan. You don't see that too often. He's usually a man putting in the big hits. Dan Sheehan goes again around the corner before Caelan Doris goes one more and gets in for the score. Really good. Just the delay, John, and some of the passes just causing real confusion for the Glasgow defence.
I think people you talk about playing flat, which you normally associate with a standoff or a outside back. The ability for forwards to take those flat passes and give and catch on the line means that Glasgow defenders have to think twice. They have to double defend. They have to look up and out, and it leaves them guessing sometimes, especially against quick ball. So Glasgow are trying to win collisions, but it's very hard when there's multi options in front of them.
Ross Byrne then with the additional 2 is 33 points to 7. As you watch that replay once more, change for Leinster in the front row. Tadhg Furlong, who is carrying a little bit of a niggle from the end of the first half, is not going to be asked to do any more. He comes out. Alan Latoa comes in his place.
Release!
There's so much space out here.
There is a lot of space, and Leinster exploit that space. Sheehan, it's the forwards again, with the pace of many of the backs. Gibson-Park, Andrew Porter, they're enjoying their afternoon in the sunshine now. The Leinster players, Glasgow, not so much. Ross Byrne, Jimmy O'Brien.
Tackle!
Gets his knees to ground, tackle complete. Caelan, Doris, Michael Alaalatoa settled so well into Leinster this season. Samoan international. Here is Ryan Baird. Gibson-Park shoves those in front of him out of the way. Larmour goes to ground. Gibson-Park, Caelan Doris just scored one. Alaalatoa on his shoulder. Tackle is made by Ryan Wilson. Van der Flier on an angle. Takes two to put him down. Two tired-looking tackles. Relentless from Leinster. McCarthy scoops it back. Gibson-Park, Ross Byrne, Larmour. Somehow Gregor Brown gets there to make the tackle, and then an arm goes up, and this time is going to be an issue.
Yeah, he's in trouble. Eyes off. Yep, straight away. Brilliant from the referee, Ollie Smith.
Cover, okay? So it's the liberal knock on. Matteo, coming up to you just to see if there is
look for penalty try
any
as well.
cover behind, okay?
I was going to say, in that passage of play,
So
just the intensity to Glasgow's line, their endeavour to get off the line has all but disappeared. It's really hard. You're 33-7 down in a quarter-final away from home. But just Glasgow have shown that, not tendency, but that ability this season to capitulate at times.
Yeah, I'm in front on the screen.
To throw the towel. We saw against Exeter, you know, big scores coming against them when it potentially shouldn't happen that easily. So just the intensity and work off the ball is really starting to let them down, I think.
Decision is about a penalty try here for the referee.
Yeah, definitely, Raul. Jimmy Barry isn't going to get
number one, I think.
Get there, I don't think.
To tackle the last
Ryan
man.
Baird, isn't it?
Okay, so I'm happy with the yellow card. Ollie, no. Matteo, agree with me?
Okay, Andrea.
Number one is covered behind, okay?
You got your feel for Ollie Smith there. He's calling for someone to come, and there's no urgency. No one's helping him. He's got to make an option. He's gone for it. As it turns out, it's a yellow card, and the siege will continue.
Yeah. For me, that's a penalty try all day long. Jimmy Barry is not going to get the Ryan Baird.
It's pretty quick.
Not a chance.
Baird or Batty?
Batty.
Nine.
Sheehan, Ryan,
Maul.
and the Maul, and the Warriors go to work about trying to push it over towards that touchline and give them no option down the short side, but Gibson-Park pops away. Ali Price eventually puts him down, but Sheehan has got his hands on it again.
All side.
Definitely a neck roll in there.
He's short. Come back, White. Let him.
Still there for Leinster. What will they do? Gibson-Park needs to make sure he doesn't cause an obstruction.
Ball's out.
Ball is out, says the referee. Now Gibson-Park, now Van der Flier. Up quickly comes Johnson and also Thompson to make the tackle. Andrew Porter will drive the legs. He's met on the gain line. Fagerson the one to put him down. They continue to tackle, but they're tackle weary. Ringrose and Frawley combine. In to make the tackle comes Fraser Brown, but Leinster are a metre short, if even that. Alaalatoa, tired Glasgow bodies. There's big gaps in that defensive line. Can Leinster exploit it? Referee has a look and suggests it's held up.
Time off. Time off.
But maybe the TMO will be the one that finally makes the decision.
Okay, Matteo, we didn't have any idea of the grounding if he's lost in control. Hit the grass, hit the line. So I'm happy to start with a scrum blue ball, unless you tell me something different from the screen.
Yeah, okay. Very good. But the ref again, once again, everybody listening at home, understanding exactly what the TMO is looking for. Michael Alaalatoa reaching out here. That's a try, that's on the line.
100%.
Definitely a try. The former Waratahs and Crusaders Tight head prop gets over.
Yeah, on the line, try is good, okay. Thank you, Matteo.
It's a good finish by the big man, isn't it?
It sure is. Michael Alamatoa converted by Ross Byrne at 6 tries, 5 conversions, 38 points to 7. Glasgow threw everything they had defensively at that effort from Leinster, but they just ran out of juice. This one of the terrific offloads in the middle of all of that from Ringrose to Frawley.
The Ringrose has played really well today. I wonder, is that because James Sheehan was absolutely electric last night for Ulster? Paul O'Connell and Andy Farrell were there. I'm sure there's Irish coaching staff, as you said earlier, Raoul, here today watching a number of these players. His position's coming under huge pressure.
Little variation from Glasgow, and it turns out to be a good variation. Rufus McLean takes the possession for Glasgow, and now they set about trying to put a little bit more respectability on this scoreboard. Jack Dempsey, the one to carry. Changes aplenty coming into the game. You'll see him there is George Horn also into the game. Ollie Keble in the front row. More on that in a moment as Glasgow go across the line in search of some weak defensive effort from Leinster. And they get the penalty.
A couple of bad moments by Ryan Baird there, missing the tackle on Dempsey. You can see him not happy with himself. Needs to get away quicker. East or west from that breakdown. Referee very quick in penalising him. He'll be sucking a bit of diesel in the back row, usually a second row, of course. Very athletic man.
Where you are.
He's not a bad back row option to have, mind you.
Right then, Fraser Brown and the Glasgow line out, maybe 10 metres away from the Leinster line. Round the front they go from Dempsey's little pass, but Leinster alive to the opportunity that might have been there, snuff it out. And there in kind of a microcosm is the difference between the execution from both sides in that position. We've seen Leinster deliver there on that occasion. Glasgow just not able to execute in a way that gives them an advantage.
Leinster have got a superb ball and they back it, and they've got nice variety. They opted for the front peel there. It's one of those plays, isn't it, Stephen? You would have been involved in. They very rarely work, in my opinion. There's so many moving parts that have to go exactly right, and Leinster defended it well. You end up, you know, best case scenario, you end up with a try, which that far out is unlikely, but there they end up against lots of defenders in a tight channel, and the ball goes forward. So yeah, just disappointed. I would like to see Glasgow just back them all, do the basics, try and get some sort of foothold in this game, in this half.
Keep it up.
Good scrum from Glasgow, but Leinster retain possession. That's a wild one from Gibson-Park. And it's put Jimmy O'Brien under all sorts of pressure, manages to get himself away from his goal line. A rare stray one from the Leinster scrum half.
Very good fork, thank you. Use it! No.
Gibson-Park just getting the ball off the pitch, just reset again. I think it's Ollie Keble. Good shove by him on the loose head side, but that's a wild pass.
Too much sticky spray on your hands.
Do you use a sticky spray, John? Were you a sticky spray man?
I used to, even on days like today. There's no grease in the ball, but any excuse.
All sorts of noise coming from the Leinster line out, encouraging Fraser Brown to throw it in. He didn't. The referee offers Leinster a free. Ringrose. McCarthy.
Ball is there.
Still about another 3.5 minutes on the sin binning of Ollie Smith. So room in that backfield for Leinster if they can exploit it. Alatoa gathers the ball. Glasgow's defensive line holds firm.
Well done, 6.
O'Brien, Frawley, and now Larmour. And Larmour, they're shouting for it inside. Gibson-Park is one of 3, and Gibson-Park will get there. Punched around the fringes, eventually went out wide where they found the space. And again, when they have that space and they're in behind you, they're deadly.
Yeah, the damage is done through the guts. Ryle, like you said there, the damage is done. Then you end up with a second row as your last defender. And look at the Leinster players surging through the middle. Rufus McLean tries to get back, but yeah, this has the feeling that this could turn, if it's not already, into a cricket score.
Hit the middle of the park and then coming back down the short side. And Raul, you'll be able to correct me if I'm wrong. That's James Gibson-Park's first try in the URC this season.
Damn you, as I reach for my notes. How very dare you. Yes, it is. 0 tries in the URC this season.
Oh, I'm glad I got that one right.
Whew, I'm glad I had it written down.
I never doubted you, Raul. Never doubted you.
Glasgow, as you can see, gathered under the sticks, having a conversation in the round. You wonder what's being said down there as Ross Byrne adds another nail into their destiny. 47 points to 7. 6 of the 7 tries scored by Leinster converted by the boot of Ross Byrne. I mean, John, what do you say as a captain when there's what, maybe I haven't seen the clock, maybe 20 minutes left in this game and you're sinking?
To be honest,
is it pride?
Yeah, there's not much you can say. I think there's an understanding of the difference in quality in the squads, and we spoke about that pre-game. I think on the pitch right now, there's not a huge amount of words you can say. It's about getting in front of people and trying to be physical and trying to make a difference. The game was arguably gone at half-time, but you know, a lot of these players will be here next season. They've got to try and get in front of people.
Here's Larmour, steps out, steps in, accelerates through 3. Ringrose on his shoulder. Oh, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. They're on the field at the RDS, and so they should be. Yes, Glasgow are tired. Yes, they're down to 14, but that is still a thing of beauty.
But the good news is I'll have a chance to speak under the post, Ryle, and figure out what to say this time, because they were there about 50 seconds ago.
What a try. Out the back again. Not learning their lessons. Look at Frawley. Off the left hand. Beautiful. Inside, outside. Coming the inside. And it's actually Jack Dempsey, I think, coming across to try and make the tackle. But it's Ringrose there in support. And there's 4 or 5 other Leinster players that could have scored that. Jordan Larmour has been exceptional today. Every time he's touched the ball, an injection of pace. Another, look at that there. And it's at high speed, Ryle. Really high speed that he's able to bounce off both feet. And that really is getting ugly now with 23.5 minutes on the clock still to go.
Yeah, you're seeing on the, you know, we always talk about, you know, if you're going to blitz in, Tuipulotu jammed in there, his numbers down, he's opted to jam in on the ball player. And if Rufus McLean doesn't do it immediately after him, it makes it a very simple 2-on-1 to follow. And that's exactly what happened there. Rufus McLean wasn't attached or wasn't close enough to Tuipulotu to join him in jamming in as a defender. And the net result is that, you know, with tired defenders, these guys are too good. They're going to pick you off. And you've got a whole load of Leinster players, a whole load of blue players pouring through in support.
Not an additional 2 from the boot of Ross Byrne, but this was really a joy to watch. Unless, of course, you're a Glasgow supporter or a player.
No, you're right. Sometimes you've got to tip your hat.
You just have to.
I mean, have to, but then look, Glasgow have got 15 players, and they shouldn't be that easy to get on an edge after a couple of phases.
McCarthy cries for a high tackle. Luke McGrath's in, and the referee is now going to go back for that high tackle.
Number 5, white, high tackle.
Cian Healy and Sean Cronin into the game for Leinster. Remember, the winners of this, who will now be Leinster, will play the Bulls next week in the semi-final. They'll have to make the long trek up from South Africa.
Yeah, it's a very quick turnaround for the Bulls. A game that went right down to the wire. The Bulls versus the Sharks, of course. 27-all into injury time, and a last-minute drop goal got them over the line. I think the Bulls next week will be a lot more physical than Glasgow have shown this afternoon here in Dublin.
There's no doubt about that. Ulster, of course, already there as well. They know they're going to be away next week in the semi-finals. They just don't know who they're going to be facing. Will it be the Stormers or Edinburgh? That game follows this one live on Premier Sports. Lots of changes on both sides as the coaches empty the benches. Sean Cronin and hooker. Richie Gray adds to his line-out steal statistics, but, well, it looked like the ball was going to get away from Glasgow, but it hasn't. And instead it's Tuipulotu who gets the ball, and on to McLean it goes, and McLean almost skipped over McGrath and onto the scoreline, but just couldn't get around the final defender. Still there, though, for Glasgow. Maybe an opportunity out wide. Still, they come to Tuipulotu. Horn and Fraser Brown. Horn once more. Glasgow threatening. Glasgow are there. Cracking try of their own. Scored by George Horn. Hour on the clock, and that their best passage of play in the second half by a significant distance.
Yeah, look, you spoke about what can you do in a game like this, Fran. That's about it. You want people to step up, you want people to carry the ball. So a lovely break, almost from nothing there. The bounce pass, Tuipulotu makes a break, he makes another break on the other side of the pitch. He manages to connect there with McLean, and they manage to regroup and hold the ball and get a bit of tempo into it. There's been with a good carry there, and just a nice offload. Good, well-worked try. Too little, too late, but a couple more of those would certainly make this a slightly less disappointing trip home.
Conversion and attempt from Thompson is good, and it's the full 7, which turns the score to 14 for Glasgow. Horn. Gonna be another change or two. Out of the game goes Brown, in comes Tom Gordon. Remember, a 6-2 split for Glasgow on the bench, 6 forwards, 2 backs in their replacements. Would normally be 5-3, that's the convention, but Danny Wilson taking an additional forward to the RDS this afternoon. Better continuity of play from Warriors, getting the ball through the hands, and a little bit of forward momentum. Leinster maybe guilty of backing off the defensive line as Horn once more. Johnson, Kebble, Tuipulotu, little kick in behind, but that one is gonna beat everybody to touch.
Yeah, good idea. Numbers were there, and probably didn't want a second row on the edge, but maybe just the lofted path over the top would have been a better option. You can see he did that ball to go end over end and pop into Ciaran McDonald's hands, but Glasgow showing some nice touches here again, but now they'll have to show a bit more grit than they have done without the ball.
McCarthy, lovely service for Luke McGrath. Caelan Doris. Dempsey helps to put him down. Cronin, oh, that was a big hit. Lined up all the way by Fraser Brown. And that one hurt, but it was immaculately delivered. Sean Cronin.
Advantage, I take us.
Quite sure who the Leinster player was that was on the receiving end of that one. Advantage being played, we'll go back, and was it Luke McGrath? Might have been Ryan Baird in picture.
There was some anger in that. It was Rory O'Loughlin.
Wasn't it? Yeah, Rory O'Loughlin.
There was some, you know, Fraser Brown's been injured for a long time. You've seen George Turner arguably overtake him with Glasgow and with Scotland. There was a bit of anger, a bit of nastiness in that tackle, which is what you want.
Okay, water out,
the game's
please.
done. You want your senior players to at least show an example.
Wait.
The Leinster boys are having a good giggle. I think there's nothing worse than being winded. They've probably all been there one time. Like you see here, look at this. Ooh, feet off the ground. You won't see many better tackles.
High tackle.
Great timing.
17 white.
Textbook. He was shaking his head as he was walking back, and I think he was shaking his head at Sean Cronin, asking him why he gave him that pass. Definitely was. I think that's what the boys were laughing about in the stands as well.
That was the tackle for which the penalty was given to Leinster, high on Sean Cronin. Nothing to do with the tackle on Rory O'Loughlin. 36 years of age now, played for Munster and for Connacht, of course. Ross Molony into the game. Cronin.
That's once.
McGrath.
Stay offside.
He'll try and get his hands on it and steer it down that narrow side. Cronin still in possession, now goes to ground. Jack Conan picks and runs into MacDonald. Jack Conan again. Good defence from Glasgow. Shutting the door, shut it firmly.
Use it.
Leinster once more. Cian Healy, Molony there. Alatoa does the clear-out work. The ball is presented.
Advantage, 5 offside.
This time Glasgow stray offside. Robbie Henshaw, Byrne. Once more it goes wide. Once more they find a way. And Jordan Larmour gets the try. Second of the afternoon for Larmour. And Leinster just keep punching away.
Yeah, another well-worked try. Really unselfish pass there from Jimmy O'Brien to let Jordan Larmour dance under the post. He's been superb today. Jordan Larmour thoroughly deserves that try, but again, the foundations are laid up front. We talk about those flat passes. That time it was Henshaw. Lovely flat ball on the line. Multiple options. Pick the right one. Make Glasgow guess. And you see that great pass. He could have finished that himself, I'm sure, but unselfishly gives it, and the scoreboard continues to tick over from a Leinster point of view.
Yeah, there's been lots of punches thrown, hasn't there, by this Leinster side. Loads of holes in this Glasgow defence. But Glasgow, let's face it, they've been on the ropes more or less since they scored the opening try of the game.
So Uker off.
Leinster really clinical today.
If there's no replacement, we play uncontested. Okay.
Last one hit the post. This one is right of the post, and he's furious with himself.
Leinster try scored by number 14, Jordan Larmour. Leinster 57.
So correct me if I'm wrong, because it's coming off for HIA.
57-14. Somehow when the stadium announcer says it, it feels a little bit more ominous.
And I'm speaking with them.
Yeah, it does. And you know the tries aren't getting the same cheers because the game's been so long in the bag for Leinster. Like Steve says, there's been a total domination, minus those opening exchanges where Glasgow looked, quite physical.
And it'll be a Leinster throw because there's
one of those days.
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, 100%.
From a Glasgow point of view, they'll look back. The most disappointing things in these games is when you look back and think, was there a lack of intensity? Was there a lack of endeavour, of work rate? There's no doubt Leinster have a superb team and a budget and squad depth, but those are the things that will hurt them if they look back and think, we didn't really give a good account of ourselves as we could have. And I think that'll be the case today.
Well, they have turned it over the line out. Last time they did that, they went all the way down the far end and scored. And now, through Horn, they have the opportunity to add a little bit of pace into this once again. McDonald, and now Glasgow up to the halfway line, having been inside their own 22. McCarthy told to get out of the way, and he does get out of the way. just about all the replacements are on for Glasgow now. Tom Gordon, the latest to carry. Not an awful lot of room for Glasgow to operate in. Horn, that wasn't particularly sympathetic to Fagerson, who did well to pick it up and continue on his way. But in there was a little knock-on spotted by the referee.
Xander Fagerson, not his best day in the Glasgow jersey, but just keeps trucking.
Okay.
Just a little knock-on there. Caelan Doris signaling the referee that there was a fumble.
Goes for HIA, okay?
One thing about a number of changes is start becoming
let's go, guys.
A little bit unorganised, especially Leinster at the line-out. Sean Cronin's missed a few. Timing's just off.
Uncontested scrum.
As we see Jordan Larmour, 13 carries, 124 metres made, beating defenders for fun.
Set. Okay, stay bind. 8, stay bind. Stay bind.
Mix up in the midfield.
First blue,
scrum turnover.
White. Scrum white.
Shut up. Come on.
Shouldn't take too long to reset, seeing as we're
Number 10.
uncontested.
Okay.
Domingo Miotti, the Argentinian international, comes in, played a little spell at the Western Force in Australia, where he played alongside Rob Carney.
Crouch, bind, set, stay bind.
Thompson makes way. We continue with the uncontested scrums. Frawley, you could see him picking that one off from the moment it came out the back of the scrum. That is try number 10, and that is where Glasgow would like the referee to blow the final whistle and send them home, because they are walking back with their heads down, and who can blame them? It's been a really tough day at the office.
Super tough for Glasgow. Ciaran Frawley. Lots of hype and talked about Ciaran Frawley, hasn't there? Is he a better at out half? Is he better at 12? But you can see that coming a mile away. Absolutely right, Ryle. Ciaran Frawley picks it off under the sticks. He'll not get an easier one.
Try number 10 converted by Byrne the younger. Harry Byrne in for his brother Ed, half Ross Byrne, and his first kick at goal is successful. There it is to prove the points.
But just watching this Leinster side, they get the try and they sprint back into position. They're like, we're not done here. We're going to get we're going to put on a record-breaking score here. It's the mindset just drilled into them to keep on going to the final minute.
A lot of these guys now, Stevie, for Leinster will be thinking, you know, I want to be involved in the semi-final, who maybe weren't going to be in. That's what competition does. And we spoke pre-game, you know, 54 players, 58 players, so many they used, and arguably most of those would be good enough to play in a semi-final.
Harry Byrne, show, go, and go he does. Luke McGrath inside, and the McGrath is away, and they're playing sevens rugby now. And Glasgow, well, there's not an awful lot you could say about that defensive effort. Try number 11, Luke McGrath in for Leinster.
Yeah, I'm struggling for words here. And, you know, Stevie's looking at each other. It's, you know, no celebration from them. They know what's going on. I think from Glasgow, this is, you know, 50 is embarrassing. When it's getting to 70, the lack of cohesion, the lack of togetherness, people doing things on their own. You see George Horn there coming out the line. When it's that easy, a lot of guys will be here next year from a Glasgow point of view. They've got to remember that. A lot will move on. This game will linger a long time in the memories of coaches moving forward, of players, of reputation. So they've got to be careful here to try and not try. It's gone beyond the stage where it's embarrassing. It's going to be hurtful. It could be hurtful to some people's, you know, careers moving forward.
71 points to 14. Still 8 minutes to go.
And grimacing for Glasgow here up in the commentary box. But just on Luke McGrath, Ralph, where's he stand in the Irish rankings for the number 9s at the minute? Conor Murray went off last night, didn't have a brilliant opening 30 minutes. Craig Casey, obviously it didn't go his way as well. John Cooney playing good stuff. Nathan Doak, obviously.
I mean, people
Gibson-Park.
forget that Luke McGrath played all 5 games. The Rugby World Cup for Ireland was somewhere in the number 1-2 jersey.
Yeah, I understand.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I understand.
And now, well, where does he sit? It'll be interesting to see when the selections are made for Ireland going to New Zealand, what scrum halves are taken. Gibson-Park will be there after that. Well, you look at Murray and you look at Craig Casey, you look at Luke McGrath, Conor Murray, Caelan Doris, or Caelan Blade, I should say, and Ciaran Marmion, almost a forgotten man. And then Nathan Doak and John Cooney and Ulster. There's an embarrassment of riches there. You go on form. You have to say Gibson-Park and Cooney.
First white, second blue.
The men in possession. Doak not far behind them.
I totally agree with that. John Cooney's been brilliant for Ulster, especially over the last 3 games.
Okay, 3 out. So we play.
Been so good.
With contest, okay. Rear scrum.
Under pressure from Nathan Doak.
Okay, rear scrum.
He's come back into form, and he hasn't been in the Irish reckoning for quite a while. Be interesting to see if he's given one last opportunity, maybe Raoul, this summer. I doubt it. I very much doubt it, but we'll see.
What's your sense of the Scottish tour in a couple of weeks' time, John?
I think it's quite important. The Six Nations was disappointing. It started well and showed a lot of promise after that first game, but that Wales game was a killer. So it'd be interesting to see what they do selection-wise, because it's been a long season for a lot of the guys who went that Lions tour, and whether they bring everyone. You know, I think looking at the quality Argentina have now, I think the importance of that to try and build some confidence before a tough autumn series. I'd like to see them go over there loaded and come away with a series win, which would be a big ask.
It's a difficult place to go. The Argentinians at home, whether that be in Buenos Aires or Santa Fe or wherever the games take place. It's a cauldron down there, and the Pumas with the home squad.
Watch out.
The home supporters. Big test for Scotland.
All inside.
McGrath,
16.
Byrne, Henshaw, Larmour. He's like a little middleweight, isn't he? He's bobbing and moving and weaving all the time. You just don't know which way or which foot he's going to come off as a defender. McGrath, Harry Byrne.
Backwards, play on backwards.
Lots of players there, but none of them able to gather. And it's going to be a try, is it? Away came Dempsey. Frawley chases him down. Dempsey straining every muscle, every sinew to get there. But Frawley never gave up the chase. And the crowd reacts as if it were a try.
Would have been so easy not to chase that, wouldn't it? 70 points, 71-14, foot off the gas. But again, we spoke about the culture, the competitive nature of that squad. Frawley would be someone that would be hoping to be involved in the semi-final, and certainly showing enough quality today and over the season to be involved.
Well, it was a lung buster because Dempsey is not short of pace, and he really went after it. Not sure who was alongside Frawley. 2 of them stuck at it.
James Ryan, I think.
No, it was Ryan Baird. Ryan Baird making it back, I think. Both wearing the same type of scrum cap.
Have to take a breath, I think.
Ciaran Frawley is on his hands and knees. Just like the old pre-season, isn't it, John? The lactic acid just taking over the whole body.
URC player of the match decided elsewhere is Jordan Larmour, and well, it's hard to argue with, isn't it?
Yeah, he's been so good, you know. But I think when you see Leinster play, for me, these guys, maybe I'm speaking as a bitter old back row, but the foundations are so often laid up front. I think someone like a Caelan Doris, for me, I never really see him have a bad game. You know, Steve, this about Ryan Baird, James Ryan, these guys do so much good work up front to allow the Frawleys, the Henshaws, the Larmours of the world. But it's great to see him back, great to see him firing some of the best footwork in European rugby, certainly.
O'Brien, Frawley, O'Loughlin. Still Leinster come. Jimmy O'Brien hasn't got his name on the scoreboard until now. O'Brien in, try number 12. Samba stuff in the sun for Leinster.
Glasgow defence actually caught Leinster behind the gain line a bit. And you can see just continuing to go down the short side, not working hard enough. Tuipulotu, well, he's given up. The covering tackle by Gordon, I think. Fresh off the bench, just not enough, but Jimmy O'Brien has been very, very good. Whether he's on the wing or full-back, exceptional footballer, good pace. And I don't know about you two lads, but I want the whistle to be blown for Glasgow's sake as well.
I thought you were going to say because you want a Guinness, Stevie.
That also.
No, look, there'll be one fun to play, and this will be a really miserable dressing room. Like some Rob Harley, you know, been at the club for, it seems like 50 years, and this is his parting game. And that's the sort of stuff they would have spoken about in their week, the emotion attached to it. They have to get the emotion right in these games. They have to get the tactical, technical right, but the emotional side of the game is really important. And I think you forget in these last games the likes of, you sometimes see these scores, so Cardiff get put to the sword by Benetton, and you forget the importance of this game to certain players. And you know, Rob Harley won't play for this club again, and it'll be a really painful last memory for him. And there'll be a number of other guys in that same category, I'm sure.
Brilliantly taken. Oh, that was outrageous from Sean Cronin. I mean, outrageous. Referee says forward. Baird gathered. Well, let's see a replay of that again, because they're just showing off now.
Yeah, just showing off. I think it was slightly forward. We're sitting in the perfect position here.
Just give it.
Yeah, just
play
give it
on. Everyone's having fun.
Good call, really good call.
Brilliant take from Baird, but it's this from Cronin.
He's been waiting to do that for 15 years, Ryle. 15 years. And he got it pulled back.
Crouch! Byrne! Set! Keep it up, keep it up. Stay up.
Harry Byrne over the top to Frawley, and Frawley to space. Not a good pass.
Keep advantage.
O'Brien saw space, chases after it, but it's dealt with by McLean, and it needed to be.
That was a tired pass by Frawley. Understandable. He's absolutely knackered. Trying to throw a long loopy pass. Out to find a bit of width. The referee bringing it back for the scrum penalty. Really good by Cian Healy on the loose head side.
From a Leinster point of view as well, Steve, you think the emotional roller coaster of going to Marseille and getting beaten in the fashion they got beaten, and we wondered pre-game, was there going to be a, you know, emotional attachment to that still? And you know, clearly not. They'll go ahead now with absolutely no emotional baggage from that game. You can see the smiles on their faces after so many downturned smiles last week. So Leinster superb, and rightly so, the favourites where they finished in the league, but even more impressive to bounce back from the disappointment of last week.
This will be the last action of a quarter-final that has been utterly dominated by the team in blue, and Luke McGrath says that's enough for us, that's enough for the supporters, and maybe even that's enough for Glasgow. 12 tries scored by Leinster, 2 for Sheehan and 2 for Larmour, McCarthy, Doris, Alatoa, Gibson-Park, Ringrose, Frawley, McGrath and O'Brien. And all the conversions, and it all adds up to 76 points to Glasgow's 14. Utter domination, on they go to the semi-finals, and a confrontation with the Bulls. You feel that will be a different one, but today, well, maybe the exercise the demon of the Heineken Cup final last week. Glasgow on the receiving end of something of a thumping. Leinster 76, the Glasgow Warriors 14.